Okay, finish up with the din of what we're learning about kovish k'mavushal, that if something was soaked 24 hours in liquid together, it becomes treif because it's considered like it's cooked. The din of 24 hours is only if it's regular liquid. What happens if it's very sharp liquid? Let's say you put two things in vinegar, meat and milk in a pan of vinegar, cold vinegar, or very heavy salt water, which is considered maluach, it's considered sharp. Then the din is, it becomes cooked in 18 minutes. Because the sharpness of the water accomplishes what regular water would take 24 hours. So in other words, if something meat and milk cooked, it's soaked together in a pan for 24 hours, so then after 24 hours it's cooked, it's considered cooked. But if it's maliach, if it's sharp or vinegar or something like that, so then it has a din of 18 minutes. I'll tell you where this din could be very practical. On Pesach. There's a din in Hilchos Pesach that cooked maror is not kosher for chatchila, for sure not. You can't cook maror and use it on Pesach for the maror, for the mitzvah of maror. So what happens if somebody is using, let's say, romaine lettuce, and they want to check it for bugs? And one of the ways you help in the checking for bugs is you put it into salt water, and you leave it, and then the salt water officially takes the bugs out. It's easier to get the bugs out. So what happens if somebody took romaine lettuce and soaked it in not a drop of salt, but salt water that's pretty dense with salt? So then if you leave it there for 18 minutes, then you can't use that mortar for the mortar on Pesach. Why? Because it's considered cooked. It's very heavy salt. I'm not talking about a drop of salt. If you put a lot of salt in to make it really salty, then after 18 minutes, that romaine lettuce is considered cooked, and you wouldn't be able to use it for maror. Again, because it's cooked. Okay, now we'll go to another din, which is a very practical din, and that's called in halacha. It's called noising tam, bar noising tam, or in if you learn in Yoreh Day, it's called nat bar nat. Noising tam, bar noising tam. It's a giving of a taste, an offshoot of a giving of a taste. Let's say, for instance, what happens if you have a very clean meat pot, and now you take vegetables, parv, or parv vegetable soup, or whatever it is, any pasta parv, whatever it may be, and now you cook it in this meat pot that was used within 24 hours. Okay? So now the question is, can I eat those vegetables or macaroni, can I eat it together with cheese? Okay, so I'm talking now practical halacha, I'm not talking all the opinions, but practical halacha is you can't eat it directly with milk. You can eat it right before, you can eat it right after, but you can't eat it mamish together with milk. Why? Because you cooked vegetables in a pot that was used that day for meat. So there is still a fresh taste of meat. So therefore the taste of meat is coming out into the vegetables. So if the vegetables have this fleishik taste in it, so then you wouldn't be able to put cheese into the macaroni or cheese into the vegetables, whatever the scenario is. You cannot eat it directly together with milk. You can eat it right before or right after. What happens if the pot was not used for 24 hours? So you cooked vegetables or macaroni. This happens very often. People ask this question. It's a very common question. People cooked macaroni in a meat pot that wasn't used for 24 hours. Now they want to make macaroni and cheese. Can they put cheese into the macaroni? So the halacha is, because it wasn't used for 24 hours, it's a blemished taste. And because it's a blemished taste, it's not at all meat. And therefore you would be allowed to put cheese into the macaroni.
In a different pot.
Yeah, you don't want to put it, yeah. But I'm saying you could serve it on the plate, take it from the pot, put it onto a plate, and add the cheese. You don't want to add cheese in the meat pot. But, now I wanted to say something else. So you can eat it, mamish, but lechatchila, you shouldn't do that. It says in halacha, you shouldn't lechatchila cook macaroni, par macaroni, in a meat pot to put cheese into it. Lechatchila, you shouldn't do it. If it's ain't a ben yoyim, I'm saying. But if it was done, okay, then you're allowed to eat it together with cheese. Mamish together, you don't have to before or after. If it was used that day for meat, and now you want to add, but you're cooking now as parv, and you want to add cheese to it, you can add it, but you cannot eat it together with meat. You can only add it before or after. With milk, I'm saying. You can't have it before, together, you can have it before or after. Where is this halachic difference? It's very practical for people that don't necessarily keep Chol of Yisrael. A lot of, they're stopping it now, by the way, but the OU and the OK used to, if you ever see, they used to have OUDE, OKDE, star K, DE, whatever. So what does DE mean? Dairy equipment. Which means that the ice cream, let's say that you've had parva ice cream, right? But they'll write OUDE, OKDE. You have many, many cookies today. You go into the market, you see OU cookies, OUDE. Many parva ice cream, sherbets, or whatever those things are, you'll see it says OUDE. Now, what does that mean? It's made in dairy equipment. Okay? Which means as follows, just in the practical halacha. Somebody who keeps Chol of Yisrael cannot eat that. Because it's made in non-Chol of Yisrael utensils, pots and pans, hot. And we hold you have to kasher from non-Chol of Yisrael to Chol of Yisrael. So you can't eat it. You can't eat that ice cream. But what happens if somebody doesn't keep Chol of Yisrael? So why are they writing OUDE? They want to tell you like this. The ice cream is parv. Okay? But it's made in dairy equipment. Which means you can't eat it together with your meat. You can eat it right before the meat. You can have it as dessert with the meat. After the meat. But you can't, OUDE means you can't eat it, whatever that says DE, it means you can't eat it mamish together with meat. So if you keep Chol Yisrael, anything that says OUDE, you can't eat anyway. But if you don't keep Chol Yisrael, and then it tells you that this is DE, so therefore you cannot eat whatever it is together with meat. You can eat it before, you can eat it after. What?
It's in the restaurant here that you see parv and now
DE?
Fish grill used to be parv.
No.
Now they add milk it, so everything is
Well, you have another thing. It depends. Is it Chol Yisrael? You mean even if it's Chol Yisrael?
This is Chol Yisrael.
Okay, it's Chol Yisrael. But again, which means if they sell, let's say, French fries that they make in that oil, that's DE. So then you can't eat it together with your hot dog or hamburger or your steak. You can eat right before, right after. But that's why they're stopping it, B'chlal. More and more they're not using DE anymore. They're writing, even if it's just dairy equipment, they're just writing OUD. Because it was too confusing for the masses to know DE, whatever. So now they're just writing OUD and that's it. But there's a lot of stuff still out there in the market, cookies and cakes and desserts and a lot of things that say DE. And it means you can't eat it, even if you don't keep Chol Yisrael, it means you can't eat it mamish together with meat. Now, what?
Can we assume for a cookie that says OUD and it's vegan? Can we assume it's DE?
I don't know. I don't know. You have to find out from the OU. Is it, You have to find out. There's a parav and what's the problem with it, how much dairy there is, or maybe they put in dairy equipment and...
What is vegan? Vegan, they use...
Vegan, everybody in the kashrus world will tell you that a restaurant that's vegan, 100% vegan, without a supervision, you're not allowed to eat there. Even though officially they don't use any meat, or chicken, or dairy, or whatever it is, but they all write, there's articles about this.
One problem they have to check.
What?
The vinegar is
That's not the only issue. Okay?
It has the hefsher of OUD, but
Okay.
it's vegan too at the same time.
So that means it's made, that means probably it was made in dairy utensils. That's probably what it means.
No, why are you wasting? A vegan waste, you can have water. He says that.
No, they have a hechsher.
What, vegan waste?
No, vegan food, whatever. No, if vegan food has a hechsher, then it has a hechsher. It may not be Chol Yisrael, but what?
The fruit they sell in the supermarket, watermelon, cantaloupe, you can eat those things?
Yeah, it's fruit from a tree.
No, it's cut.
Cut.
Oh, you mean cut. So the answer to the question is yes, you could eat it because it's cold and the knives are basically used only for fruit anyway. And even if it was used for something else, it's definitely Einer Ben Yemen, there's not a problem with the knife, that you could eat, yeah. What?
It's not for not. I had a question with Shabbos. My chocolate I thought was drying out. I want to add water without putting the pot under the hot water machine. So someone suggested if I take a ladle and I leave it in a fleishik ladle, and it's Einer Ben Yemen, and leave it in the hot water, I could take out a scoop, it's a clean machine, I can take out. They said this water you can't use for coffee. You have to-
Schwache Meises.
I didn't do it.
No, I'm saying you shouldn't do it. It's not so simple. It has to be straight from the Klirishan straight. And that ladle that it has a din of a Klirishan, even if you leave it in, is a machlekes. Okay? So you might be a shaila of bishul anyway. Whatever, it's too complicated to get into now. But the bottom line is it should not be done. No.
If you're not doing it,
If somebody did it, they can eat the cholent, but the yavid, because there are shitas that hold you could.
Now what happens to the water? You can use that for coffee?
Which water?
The water in the hot water machine. The rest of the water,
How did you take out from the ladle?
you can open it now.
The top, you mean?
Yeah.
Like an urn.
Or, yeah.
So you open up the top and you take out the water. Are you allowed to do that?
He says better not. Because it's
No, forget. Are you mixing the water? The Alter Rebbe holds at the end of Shinyat Chesed, even if it's fully cooked, you can't take out while it's on the fire. So there's a machlekes, it applies to water too. There's a Shulchan talking about if it applies to water too. But the bottom line is, taking out with a ladle from a pot that's on the fire, because the urn is considered on the fire, yeah? Right? And then you're taking it out, water, so that is mixing the water. Now let me ask you a different question. How are you supposed to cover the urn afterwards? No, I'm saying, the Alter Rebbe holds also, while it's on the fire, you can't cover a keli.
What if you dry the meat first?
No, but you can't cover a pot that's on the fire, even if it's totally cooked.
So what do we do on a regular Shabbos? You're shooting chocolate now and chocolate later. You're allowed to cover it what's off the fire?
You're allowed to cover it off the fire. Or you move it up to the side of the blech. That's not halachic. Okay, but anyway, we're getting sidetracked with the things that don't belong here. Anyway, so that's the issue not by not. So bottom line is, if somebody cooks pativ in a meat pot that's clean, by clean, it wasn't used for 24 hours, so then you can have it with milk. I'll tell you where you have another practical issue. Somebody baked their Shabbos meal. So they baked chicken in the oven, right? Or meat in the oven. Now let's bake a cake for Shabbos. The oven's clean, nothing spilled, the oven's clean. So now you're baking a cake in an oven that was used that day for meat. Okay? That day for meat. Now you want to eat the cake with your coffee Shabbos morning. So if you don't use milk, use parva milk, you don't have an issue. But now you're going to have a coffee that has milk in it. You're going to eat a cake that was baked in a meat oven. Ben Yoimei. So you can't say the practical halacha like Rashi that we're machmir that we don't eat it. So then you have a problem with the cake. Or if somebody baked challah, it's late. If somebody baked challah, let's say, in the same oven that they cooked chicken, that was uncovered, let's say. Make it even simple. It's uncovered chicken. Now they bake a challah. Okay, so it's for Shabbos meal, so basically it's going to be fleishiks. Now you have leftover challah that didn't become fleishik. Okay, I've leftover challah. Now I want to make French toast out of it with milk. Or I want to put cream cheese on that challah. So because the challah was baked in an oven that was used that day for fleishiks, the halacha we said you can't eat it together with milk. So you can't make French toast with milk, or you can't put cream cheese onto the challah. What?
If the meat or chicken dish that you put into the oven is completely covered with foil.
If it's completely covered, then there's more reason to be makel, but not everybody would like to be makel. Yeah.